Alrighty. Richter comes back.
Yeah.
One boar. Slung
boar
over
is-
the shoulder, if I remember correctly.
Pulling behind.
Oh, yeah, you
struggling
can't.
too.
Yeah.
I'm not
I was
very
gonna
strong.
say. Your dinkles.
This is not Indira.
Yeah, sorry. This person's small and weak, not small and strong.
Just one?
Everyone got away.
Hmm.
Birds spooked them.
The animals are disturbed. The corruption spreads already.
Do you mind? And she like hands you the rope.
Of course.
Thank you. I need to keep an eye out for a black lichen. The only shot my father has at not feeling too much pain when they take his leg.
That grows on trees, correct?
Dead ones.
I will keep an eye out as well.
As you're traveling back, it would be survival with disadvantage, because you're kind of... like, you're ambling a bit, but you're not actively looking. Hey! Hey! Hey, hey! Real good.
Good for Richter, anyway.
Do you want to
Minus
give
1
one Amaryllis?
Sure, why not?
You were there. You're coming back too, I imagine.
I mean, if we find a whole bunch of it, I'm sure that it will benefit a lot of people in the village.
It's a good painkiller. You don't. You're traveling back when you see, an old pine. The moonlight catches it, because at this point it is full nighttime. The moonlight catches it just right, and you see, the moonlight reflects the bark pale, but there's the black splotch of lichen. You just rush up and take as much of it as you can. You don't care if it regrows, and it's not really how lichen often works.
I also
Anyway.
would have taken the bark underneath of it. I would
Smart.
have just peeled the bark.
Yeah, that's way smarter than what I was suggesting. And with
It's
that,
like a gloopy handful.
lichen's dry, my dude.
No, they said it was gloopy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks gloopy. It's one of those
Get
things that is
retconned, kid.
it's very glossy. No, you used the law to destroy the law. Okay. With that, you can head back with a little bit more pep in your step. When you get back, it's nighttime. A lot of people are sleeping. Some people are just sleeping out in the cool. You guys are used to such cold, but there's tents set up for the people who haven't got a home anymore. Torin and Lehar are working tirelessly to produce the Blue Lady salves and apply it, mixing it with water and other herbs and things. Yeah, real good. When you come back with only one boar, Oscar does make a bit of a face. It's like, I will feed some hungry bellies. We will need to hunt again tomorrow.
I promise. The animals are behaving very strangely, though. You might be best to stick to fish and things that can't run away.
I will trust your judgment. You are the best hunter this village has. Now.
I'll get to work on a net. And I get to work on a net.
Yeah, during like the
Weaving
long rest, you
grass
weave a
and
net.
boughs
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Give me a. Do you have a crafting tool?
I
Or you
have
just,
thieves' tools.
I have
I have
weaver's
daggers.
tools. If you want me.
It
to
doesn't
answer
give you a proficiency, but that does help with the DC, that you can kind of hand the weaver's tools, and your weaver's tools would be for weaving reeds and flax. And one of the things that this village grew was flax. You have quite a lot of it. So, in which case, it is a intelligent wisdom. Making a net out of reeds, wisdom roll, which is flat.
I've got the actual proficiency as well if you want me to use that, but
Ooh.
I feel like you could see me struggle with it if I fail, is the thing.
No,
Yeah,
but this
no,
would
I
be the
should
whole
try.
night, is the thing. This is how these kind of checks work.
Okay.
So if you don't accept the help now, it won't be until tomorrow that she can roll it, essentially.
Okay. would I be able to assist to give advantage?
You don't have proficiency, so no. If you both had proficiency, then yes.
Okay. I just don't feel like Balar would be like,
She
I've
needs to do
done
it.
this.
Yeah.
Amaryllis,
You know what I
Amaryllis
mean?
would sort of when you go to start weaving, Amaryllis would sort of proffer like the tools she has, which are all again sort of clearly made out of like her own branches and such like, and then sort of say, I am somewhat skilled, if you would prefer me to do so.
Actually, yeah. You take the lead on this. I'll use the thing tomorrow. For now, I need to go check on Grit. My dad.
All right.
Amaryllis will
Give
nod
me a
and start
weaving
doing
tool
so.
check. Wisdom or intelligence, whichever's better for you.
Come on, don't screw me again. Oh, well,
That was
that's okay.
nearly a screwing.
That was nearly
Luckily,
a screwing.
a net with weaver's tools is not very hard. It isn't the most structurally secure net, but for hunting small animals and fish or something, will be fine. This isn't a kind of net that you could throw on a monster to keep it down, or a running away minotaur or whatever. But for animals, it'll do great. And you guys, unless there's anything else you want to do during the night, the night will continue and pass. People are unwell, but the blue lady, when you apply it as a salve instead of a potion, it works slower, but it's, you know, a kind of, I mean, it's better healing than any medicine we have, you know, it's like an antibiotic and starts to actively heal the wounds. For most of the injuries, not quite that good. For most of the injuries most people have, Blue Lady salves deal fine. There are people who've lost arms. There are people who are going to be permanently injured, and Griff is one of them. But the Blue Lady at least helps with the pain. Leia was trying to say we can't prepare for a surgery until this place is cleared out of people, until people have somewhere to stay. Doing a surgery here will nearly definitely kill him.
Going to for sure say that since she's doing the net, once I check on Griff and see how he's doing, I would get to work building just even rudimentary shelters for people.
If you want to do that, you won't take a long rest, and you might get exhaustion. But if you want to do that, that's fine. All right, that is.
This is a situation where she would do that.
Yeah, it's always an option to stay up over the night. Considering
if you leave him with the crushed leg that's not chopped off, he'll end up in random islands.
Exactly.
Anyway,
what you would do for this would be survival, because you were literally talking about you make shelters. That's one of your things. These won't last a horrendously long time, but until there's strong wind or strong rain, they will actually do fine. And the wood and leaves and things are not corrupted. You work through the night to start making these shelters, and I'm not going to say you get shelter for everyone, but the amount of people who are sleeping out in the cold or sleeping on the floor of Leia's hut is dramatically reduced. And that really gives you another goal you might want to add to your little note. To build both temporary shelter and permanent shelter. Balara is noticeably tired. You're not at a point of exhaustion yet. That'll be later on in the day. So anything important you want to try and do in the morning before you get that point of exhaustion, which...
Fish. I want to fish.
Okay.
Can I just ask, Ollie, as I was making the net, do I get the benefit of a long rest or not?
Yes, that was, a crafting...
That's light enough. Fair enough.
That is very active activity. So it's morning. It's just like the morning I described before. Cold, frost on the ground, but no snow. A little bit of mist, but no rain. The village is mostly far enough away from the river that sweet and comfortable smell isn't there. But when you actually go down by the river, Balara, before you check with the rest of them, you're like, okay, I'm gonna fish. Just check the scene. The river smells wrong, which is uncomfortable. If you live by the river, You've woken up to the same smell. I'm not going to say every night, because you've definitely slept in the forest a bunch, but most nights of your life. And that's quite uncomfortable. With the mission still being to gather food, the boar, one boar fed everyone for that night. Do you want to, gather the help of the party for this kind of thing? You want to just kind of work
I think I would.
around
I think I would try to appeal to Richter to go boar hunting, and the other two to look for veg while I fish, and what I catch we can talk about and see if it's too corrupt to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ollie, just as a thing, like overnight and such, like, can I would be thinking, it's not immediately relevant, but do I recognize, and does it mean anything to me, the name of the dragon?
The dragon's name?
I believe it was
Malakes, yes. You can give me a history roll, actually. Absolutely.
Seeing kid playing the long con.
Might as well.
You have lived on Mother's Horn a long time.
Because you're a tree.
And it is referred to on other parts. You're on the west side of Mother's Horn, very near the west coast, actually. Particularly the east side of Mother's Horn is apparently rife with dragons. You would have been there. You maybe even encountered dragons in a younger, sprier time. This particular dragon, no. But you do know enough about dragons to recognize that she was a full-blown adult. A group of adventurers can take a younger dragon. And it's particularly when dragons get to a kind of teenage, adolescent age, they get cocky and start acting like they're adults, but are still kind of weak enough to be slain. This is a fully grown dragon when their scales start to become harder than any steel, and their cunning grows even stronger. You do bet, though, knowing the layout of this land, green dragons live in forests. First of all, this corruption that she caused will be where she lives as well. That will be quite easy to find. But of the layout of this area of your home, the Green Valley, of the forest, the people of this village are not allowed to travel through. And maybe you even talked to some people and heard of this. Kind of to the southwesterly direction. Because the river kind of curves between south and east, making it really awkward to give you a cardinal direction. Kind of on that mountain, up cliff and climb, is this forest you're not allowed to go to.
Is it the one that I've gone to anyway?
Yeah, that's the one which is like, don't go there, but you might have peeked in before.
Yeah. Never
even
like full on dove in, but
because even getting there is a trek. Even getting there is quite a trek. And you have to go through some other territory of other creatures in the valley. So, yeah. Exposition dump. So
that's what I'm here for, with my expertise in history.
Absolutely. Of the things you can do, Belara wants to fish. Richter should hunt boar. Torin and Amaryllis, general herbalism. So, can you all give me survival checks? Unless there's something else you want to do instead.
If I use, if I try and do the same thing I did yesterday evening, but use animal friendship spell to effectively charm the creatures I'm talking to.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll give you advantage for that, actually, in this context.
Okie dokie.
Whoops.
Jesus.
Nice. Could Torrin actually, like, I understand this, he understands it's important to go and get food, but they've only got so much Blue Lady. They can't necessarily go and harvest more straight away.
Yep.
So he'd rather stay and do some medicine
Absolutely.
to either prevent the need for Blue Lady or stretch what
Yeah,
little they
this is the time where even like simple treatments will do a lot to people. That's absolutely fine. You don't even need to give me a check because this isn't life or death anymore, but this is improve whether the people in the village can get back to helping as quick as possible. Let's go in a bit of an order. But the fish you can catch either are dead in the net or are sluggish and slow as if they are unwell. Even you are like, this is not edible. While the river looks fine, the fish are wrong now. Quickly moving on, Amaryllis, you don't find a whole lot. Unfortunately, this is autumn, and quite late in it as well. More people are starting to be... more of the animals are starting to rush away, you know? So, unfortunately, you don't get as much assistance from them as you would have liked. Which is a real pain. Richter, however... Ooh, I'm actually looking at the wrong thing. Richter might have also fucked up. You're hunting for meat.
Deep Fugoop is impossible.
Would you hunt in the forest or the plains?
I wouldn't really know. I guess Richter would know to go back to whereabouts they were yesterday.
Forest. Okay.
With his spear, ready to fucking 1v1 a bar.
Please roll me a d20.
Roll 1d20. 13.
You don't find any boar.
Fuck.
You do find large collections of birds that are acting erratically enough that you can start, you know, catching them, breaking their necks, and you know, putting them in bags, which is good eating. They don't appear to be like poisoned, but you catch like a lot, like a big bag worth of these birds, sparrows and starlings, things like that.
No point deboning them. Crunch, crunch.
Yeah, you just exactly. And again, this is not enough food to assuage a food problem, but this is enough food to probably handle the camp for the day. You know, I mean, people aren't eating as much as they would like to. But
pick off the feathers, make a big
exactly. You take it back home, and the people who are less injured start picking off the feathers and making a big stew, or just cooking them on fires enough for people to eat. You bring this back quite early in the day. This would be when Belara starts suffering a point of exhaustion.
When just a thing, like assuming I come back probably a similar time.
Noonish, yeah. You're taking like half a day on these kind of things.
Would Belara have just immediately got rid of the fish? Or
nope, I was gonna say it. I would have held on to a couple of the ones that were alive, and any of the ones that were dead that had anything peculiar about them, so that I could show them to people.
In that case,
yeah, it's not like they have tumors or anything like that. It's not a tumor. They're just either dead or like sluggish.
In that case, Amaryllis would would motion to him and say, "Would you allow me to try something?"
Thing.
And over the next 10 minutes, she basically sort of sits over the fish that she's got sort of arranged in front of her. And sort of you can sense that sort of magic again as with the flowers opening and closing. And then as the 10 minutes come to an end, there's a sort of shimmer as she is almost like she's what effectively magic is trying to do is pull like a healthy fish out of another version of the flow, as it were.
Yes, absolutely.
Some guy on the other side is like, "Oh boy, what a nice shot."
So what you see, Melara? You saw Torin cast magical healing magic earlier. That was weird. What Amaryllis does when she casts this ritual and roots in the ground and the flowers bloom in her hair and the uncomfortable smell of the river is completely taken over by this, usually the kind of smell that you wouldn't notice, but in this context you do. It's very clean, but also otherworldly, but not in an unpleasant way like the smell of the river. The fish that are blackened and dead on the ground with glassy eyes kind of shift and move, almost as if they're being replaced by other fish. It's not like the fish are being healed. There's kind of almost the best way to you kind of describe it is like the camera shakes and moves and shifts, but of course there's no camera, you know. It's almost glitchy, but of course no computers. But they're just sort of replaced with the same fish, but healthy and thrashing and flopping around, and like you kind of bring them, you know, down the jetty, so you kind of they're not going to get back in the water. It's a very strange thing to see, but because of the amount that it cures, you know, this is actually going to garner quite a bit of food and could garner quite a bit more food, if possible.
So yeah,
that's what one of your spell slots is for every day.
No, it's a ritual. I can cast this without spell slots.
Oh my
as long
God,
as I
wow.
have it prepared. So once it happens, I imagine there's a moment of silence, and Amaryllis just sort of looks up and says, "It appears that the flow will lend me its blessings in bringing forth the healthy ones, if you can gather more."
You're incredible. Can you do this? Can you do this to the people?
No, this does not rejuvenate. It brings things from other possibilities.
Right.
That cannot be done with people.
Okay.
Okay.
You can see her visibly disappointed that her grit, I mean dad, is going to lose his leg. So
Purify leg is a different spell.
100% start fishing more.
Yeah,
You want another
absolutely.
Survival roll then?
No, in this context, it kind of doesn't matter. You know
Okay.
how to fish. You are a
Yeah.
survivalist. She
Yes.
knows how to heal the fish. And because it's a ritual, you know, you essentially just keep on using this magic. It's not like you're casting a ritual over and over. It's like you're entering this state where you can contact the flow and alter the flow and ask the flow to change. And every 10 minutes or so, it does.
Yeah, and
Like
I
a
imagine
pulse.
that there's strange little things like little buds and such like growing out of around nearby, and sort of the area looks a little bit greener and
Yeah,
healthier
like
generally.
literally like you're on kind of like a semi-wooden jetty that was very old, so it's kind of grown back over with dirt, and the wood is starting to bloom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're just fishing, adding to the pile, and getting someone else to help bring the cured fish off to the community to add them to the stew. And you can just continue doing this for the rest of the day, and that's going to leave you with quite a bit of food, because the fish are easy to catch because they're mostly dead or dying. But then they can be cured. So this is actually going to give you a really good food source, which is going to completely assuage the food worries for a handful of days. The next mission...
So what if the fish are completely rotted away? What if they're just skeletons that we're catching eventually?
That is not the case right now.
Sounds like a later you problem.
So this is I'm just wondering if
this
is a
right now, this is how much
fix.
it goes. When it
Right.
comes to like another mission, is the next one of the missions you will want to do is find secure a more permanent food source. One of the ways of doing that would be capturing the lost livestock that kind of scattered during that whole thing. all manner of, the chickens are mostly still around. That's not so much a problem, and chickens are, it's more like sheep, cows, whatever pigs that you have. That is a mission for someone. The kangaroos, they need to be caught, and that will also assuage the problem a little bit. If you had a way to keep the fish over winter, you would be able... This would basically be a secured food source. You just need to do this for a week, and then that would be good for a long period of time. You don't have that right now. Your civilization does not have ways to keep fish over winter.
We don't, ferment them or
You
anything?
just fish over winter. Yeah, that's not... You've not reached that level of a tech tree.
Can we not smoke them?
You don't have a smoker.
Don't need a smoker. We have a barrel. And a fire.
You don't have a smoker. Even if your smoker is a barrel and a fire, you don't have that yet. That could be something you might want to do, which would require resources and someone who knows how to build such things, like Griff. So in the mission structure, if you want to get those kind of things, you're going to need to help with Griff's amputation, which will be something to deal with in a couple of days when food and less of a bit of a worry. Yeah, I mean, that's good that you're thinking in such ways, right? Because building structures, again, is going to be a big deal. I was actually thinking about this before. This is not the kind of campaign where you going out and doing quests and getting money is going to help. Not yet. Right now, it's, ideas and resources. So,
We're
yeah.
legit playing, Harvest Moon.
For now?
Harvest Moon, but where your town was ravaged by a dragon and minotaur.
Harvest Moon, but better. So on the village missions, can I make this appear for chat? I can, if I do this. Oh, this is tiny baby screen. Very hard to see.
Your tiny baby screen.
Of the food problem, that's the core problem, but you have, you don't even, no longer need to do those 2 urgent ones. You can cross that off the list. That's done. The urgent stuff is done, which is good for session 1, right? Build shelters. You are doing at night, I imagine, Bilara. You're going to be too exhausted to do that tonight. It would be
every other night, yeah, I think. And I'll just have to be exhausted during the day for now.
That works. Investigating the river poisoning isn't something to do now. I just kind of want to put that on there as that's... You will want to find a way to cure that in the future, because then you'll have fish. And that's, again, food is not going to be so much of a problem then. Finding a lot of livestock is also something to do. If you want to add... Build smoker, amputate Griff's leg, help Griff, cure Griff. Those are all things that need to also be done. Other things that need to be done so soon, I don't know. What do you think?
I honestly think that shelter is one of the most important things. Not even even if it's just a big
wooden
reinforced room. If we just
huge,
relift the roof, if we relift the roof on the
that's also a morale.
Yeah, it's what's for 3 basic human needs, is it? It's food, shelter, and clothing, which we've got clothing.
Pussy.
I get it.
Yeah. That was unexpected.
Human need.
I approve.
So we've got clothing. We've got food for a couple of days.
Food for now. You don't have a permanent food source.
Shelter is the big one, particularly with the cold days.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
shelter should be next priority.
When winter becomes a real problem, if you
everyone can pile into one room.
In theory, if you rebuild the chief's hut, it would be big enough to, with the other little shelters that are being built, that would be good enough for now. right? That would be a huge deal because the chief's hut was the biggest. It's like it was a big floor plan room with a fire pit in the middle. Perfect for the winter. You might even want to reinforce it more than it ever was before. You do have builders in the village. So you can kind of set them upon that. And, you know, you're not smart enough to think of this immediately. This would be talking with Oscar and kind of, you know, this idea comes up a bit more organically. The things they're going to need for that, maybe we'll work out next time. Because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of resources. You're going to have to clear out the fire, the burnt out smoldering remains first, which is really a job for you guys because you're the strongest and hardiest. Then gather resources to do so. Maybe you can use some earth, in which case you need to dig and maybe even use some magic and stuff like that.
I was thinking that we could rebuild and then coat the outer walls in like a mud.
Yeah, that's kind of
Like
what I was
a
thinking as
clay.
well. Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be flammable then.
If clay would be involved finding clay.
Yeah, indeed.
Which is a whole thing of its own. Eh? But that's the thing. That's what Jarviskjir Horn and Plenty is all about. You are going to rebuild Cornucopia
It's actually Horn of
one
Empty.
step at a time. Each mission adding to the others and coming together. So the mission of rebuild the chief's hut to use as shelter is really quite a lot of other ones. And then, just like any good game, you could the clay thing is really an upgrade. You know, that would make it more protectable and good in the wintertime. But give me a bit of time for me to work some DM magic. So that'll be where we call off today's session with. Okay, minor tragedy aside, you did very well today.
Minor, literally 50% of population lost.
Minor tragedy. But you guys did really well, which is why I can say without any hesitation, you 4 level up to level 2.
Yeah.
No hesitation. You did. You genuinely did super
yeah.
well.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was an encounter where I was like fully ready for you to all get knocked out, right?
But we'd
And
get
just
up again.
wake up. Yeah.
Never gonna keep us down.
I did that joke earlier.
You don't level, Dean. You know what? Just for you guys, I'm gonna roll my my level hit die on stream.
Oh yeah, I will join in.
You're gonna roll, Ian?
I'm gonna roll.
That's all right.
I get to re-roll ones.
Roll number
I rolled
1,
fucking
you bitch.
well.
Yes! Just why? Screw me.
That's it. Ian's broken.
I wish I could just him.
Okay then! Everyone goes to level 2 aside from Ian, who's still basically level 1. So, next week we will continue with you guys mostly working on rebuilding the central shelter in the middle of the of the Cornucopia. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you can't tell, obviously Cornucopia is all based around the kind of idea of rebuilding and then making sure it thrives, this village. Surviving and thriving. Which is something I always love in D&D, and we're just being completely honest about it in this one. Instead of it being a side quest, it's the quest, which is pretty damn sweet. I'm enjoying it so far, and that's all that matters. So... no reaction to that broke my soul a little bit. Why don't you guys talk... I guess you're leveling up. Why don't you guys take a moment from your level up to real quick talk a little bit about yourselves and other things you got going on. Starting with my good friend Neil.
I do often get called Daniil.
Daniil. I mean, Daniil about our friendship.
I'm Neil. You can find me at Nerkite or at Nerkite_ on Discord or Twitter, respectively. My book just slid down into my hand. You can find me on twitch.tv/Daleric, where I am the king in a Pathfinder Kingmaker game. I say I'm the king. We're like 3 kings, but I'm the best king. Confirmed. And that is a lot of fun. It's a similar sort of... It's very different, but a similar sort of style in that it's not just your quest and best.
Not just the players, the world,
Yeah.
the village is a character as well.
Lots
essentially,
of politics, too much politics.
not
So
going
this
to be
is
much
some
politics
nice-
in this one, at least for a
This is
while.
nice, idyllic village life with no politics. And yeah, you can find that on twitch.tv/Daleric. And that's the only places you can find me. Oh, wait. Is that right, Ian?
What?
It was not.
No. I tell you, -2 wisdom in real life.
Oh,
Legitimately. Never mind. You'll hear about the Patreon game when we get around to Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little munchkin.
Next is Dean.
Hi, I'm Dean. I have a video coming out probably on Monday. On Dean Cutty, actually. So go ahead and subscribe to youtube.com/Dean Cutty. It's a video on a 2002 comedy drama film called Punch Drunk Love. I go into great detail about it and gush about it because there's a really...
Sorry, Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. Yep, Adam Sandler is underrated and he's hated for... Well, it's to be fair. He's hated. To be fair. Hated.
Skill of saying nothing at all while saying so many things.
And on Mathis Games, we're doing Monster Hunter, which is a lot of fun because I like playing Monster Hunter with my friends. It's
Are
my
you using the hunting
I
horn?
bet that's so much fun, isn't it, Dean? Playing Monster Hunter with your friends.
I also got Monster Hunter on PlayStation 4 mostly because Dean said he'd play with me and never did.
And then he said he'd get it.
This
on
is a
PC
thing
with
Dean
me,
does.
And he never did.
Do not believe his lies.
I was too busy watching Avengers.
We have a new one now. We have Neil getting coffee. We can, build one for everyone. Everyone has an excuse.
That's not a meme.
We were
I'm
like
pretty sure
live
it
for like
happens every
15
Wednesday,
minutes.
yeah.
You were
At the beginning
live?
of the stream. Not live with sound, but we were in chat
Oh.
being like, yeah, we'll be a little while.
I'm pretty sure this is a pretty common thing that the start of the stream is slightly delayed by Neil getting coffee, like every time.
Yes.
Hey, look, it takes a lot of caffeine to bring this much.
I respect the
This.
need for coffee. Like explicitly, like he went, "Oh, do I have enough time to get a coffee?" And I said, "No, but get it." So I respect it. I understand it. Dread it, run from it. You can't run from it. That's Dean.
That's an Avengers quote. I like those films.
Do you?
Next up, I like Ian.
Hello, I am Ian, aka Arvine. I am currently very salty about that hit die. But I was already playing a character who is basically going to be useless in any combat situation. Now I am just even more useless in any combat situation, so it all works out.
Very funny.
So
The interesting thing about this campaign is kind of similar to the Monday one. You have kind of more excuses to basically leave players behind, and it doesn't really, if you kind of leave someone doing a job, they might be doing their own thing and stuff like that, doing different missions at different times with different people. So
there.
maybe you might
Ian's
not
already-
even get in all the fighting.
Yeah,
Who
well,
knows?
I hope I won't get involved in too much fighting, because if I do, I'm likely to die. But at any rate, yes, if you want to listen to the Monday game, which me and Neil are part of, we play
Unfortunately,
quite different characters to anything you would have seen at something else on stream.
I destroy my voice every time I.
Ooh, can I have a slight aside to point out? I was planning on pointing this out on stream, but I'll point it out now. That currently the voice for Tauren is just the voice that Neil makes when he wants to make something sound stupid. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
when you say something in a mocking way, use the same voice. I just wanted to point
Yep.
that out.
He actually sounds like Veldrin. Most of all.
there's less anxiety. Veldrin had a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, less anxiety. Veldrin really.
Veldrin might be one of the only Jarviskjir characters that got a really happy ending. He was a character Neil had who got married, and like
he was drowned.
Still lives.
Yeah,
and,
happily ever after. With his
wife, with his scary halfling wife.
She was more than scary, my friend. She was.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if you want to hear more of a Monday game, then subscribe to Ollie's Patreon. Neil plays a very different character. I play a character who talks very much like this, and very quick talking.
One of my favorite characters, Yulia.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to take her out back with the shotgun soon.
No, don't hurt Yulia. She's too precious. Anyway, yeah. I am looking forward. I've really enjoyed playing Amaryllis this session. I'm looking forward to playing her more, even with that HP that at level 2 is still below 10.
You could die to a boar charge still.
I am aware.
That's bad.
So all my plan in combat from now on is basically to pretend I am a tree, and just, as long as the opponent is not a boar, I reckon I can survive. But yeah. Anyway. Catch you next week. It's hopefully going to be fun.
To backtrack a bit, another woman who is scary but great is Doxy.
No, that's Xena, warrior princess.
Also true.
All right. Hi, I'm Zero Doxy. I like to quack and also stream. So you should follow me at twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY. I will be going live tonight. Yeah.
We should play some Overwatch soon, Doxy, because I'm addicted to it at the moment.
Overwatch.
I also am.
Yeah, well, all we need to do is be awake at the same time and streaming at the same time.
Problem
which
is,
will never happen.
Doxy's real bad at it.
I think Doxy's alright at it.
I'm really good, actually, at a couple of
Doxy is good at
really
shooters. You have not played Siege with Doxy. People are you're kind of Doxy's last one alive, and you're like, oh, we'll see what's going on then. Pow, pow, pow! 6 people dead. No hesitation. She's got the killer instinct. She's good at Siege.
I've only played that 3-person one with her. That's all.
Apex.
Yeah.
She got better.
Apex.
No flame. I'm not any good at Apex either. I am certainly not the Apex legend.
I'm all right at it. I win a lot.
I'm also very good. I'm the strategist in Apex. And it's always Dean wanting to do a risky play, and I'm like, no, we should do the safe option.
We have really gone off the rails here.
There were rails?
Who? Everyone's done their bit. Who have we missed? No
well,
no, it's fine.
Big man himself is me. Yeah, this game's pretty great. I like quite a bit. If you like this, because it's a new show, might be new peeps about. I do another show on Sundays, which is currently set in the Underdark of Jarviskjir. Basically, Jarviskjir is a world where things are a little different. This campaign takes place in an unexplored part of the world, literally a different continent to most other games. The Underdark game is very similar to that. The way I run a lot of things is very different. There might be some really cool things coming down the pipeline soon that I can't wait to show you, but I have to! So instead, we're playing a bunch of games Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and every day I like to play with you, chat. And that's that. You can support me on Patreon. There's a Monday game. There's things. I will probably post the Oracle rules on there, but they are not proofread. They will be in Ollie. That's fine. You can translate. I'll do that soon, because Oracle is pretty fun, and so is playing D&D with my friends. That is all. Goodbye.
But you did well. Dean hasn't done his bit.
Dean did his bit.
Did Dean do his bit?
Dean did his bit.
Definitely did, yeah.
Oh wow. I guess.
Neil, you literally
was,
you googled the movie I was talking about during my bit.
I guess that was a big mistake.
Oh, poor Dean.
It's a living.